All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you guys. We hope you have a lot of fun with us. We are excited to bring you Grossology. It's our very first week of our virtual summer camp. Taylor and I will be leading you through activities, but today, our very first activity we're going to be doing is DNA extraction. So for that, we are going to need a few things. You can have strawberries and or bananas. Either one will work, or both. That's what we're going to do today. You're going to need some salt, some 91% alcohol, some lovely dish soap, and then you're going to need some popsicle sticks or wooden stirrers, a jar, rubber bands, and a coffee filter. Those are the most things we're going to need for right now. So to start our activity, what we want to do is we want to take our coffee filter, because this is going to take a little bit to set up. You're going to take your coffee filter, and you want to make sure that we secure it over the top. Make sure all of it is secured down with a little bucket there in the middle, and if you need a little bit more, you can push some up through there, whoops, and give yourself a little more room. And then once you got it secure, we're going to set it to the side for right now, and we're going to start with our strawberries. So what you want to do is get yourself a little sandwich bag, and we want to take strawberries. If you have one really big strawberry, or I'm using 3 small ones, and we want to cut the tops off of our strawberries. So once you have your tops, they'll look just like that, have them cut off. We're going to stick them in the bag, just like this. And the first thing that we want to do is going to be the most fun part of this, is we get to squish these strawberries up. So Taylor, go ahead and squish our strawberries up. So we're going to squish those till there's no chunks left. And this is going to be called lysing the cell. So by squishing that, what we are doing is we are releasing particles of that and strands of DNA. So our DNA is what makes us who we are, and we actually share some really cool traits with strawberries and bananas, and we have some very similar DNA to them. And so the reason we're doing this is because a part of Grossology a lot of people think about, we talk about, is microbiology. And so microbiology is the study of cells, and cells have everything to do with living organisms. They all live inside of us. So once we've got that all straightened up, we're going to get some of our next items ready to go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some hot water going. So we want to get it not super hot, but hot enough that it's going to help melt our salt. And then we're going to take some of our measuring cups here and drop some stuff. Alright, so what we want to do is in one of our little cups that we have, we want to take a teaspoon of our salt. So take a teaspoon of our salt, and we want to pour in our cup. And then once we've got our hot water, we want to dump a half a cup of our warm or hot water in here. Our strawberries all squished. Yep, so once they're all squished, you want to squish for about 2 minutes or so. As you can see, everything is nice and smooth, no chunks in there, anything like that. Our water's almost warm. What we're going to be doing is DNA extraction. So for that, we are going to need a few things. You can have strawberries and or bananas. Either one will work, or both. That's what we're going to do today. You're going to need some salt, some 91% alcohol, some lovely dish soap, and then you're going to need some popsicle sticks or wooden stirrers, a jar, rubber bands, and a coffee filter. Those are the most things we're going to need for right now. So to start our activity, what we want to do is we want to take our coffee filter, because this is going to take a little bit to set up. You're going to take your coffee filter, and you want to make sure that we secure it over the top. Make sure all of it is secured down with a little bucket there in the middle, and if you need a little bit more, you can push some up through there, whoops, and give yourself a little more room. And then once you got it secure, we're going to set it to the side for right now, and we're going to start with our strawberries. So what you want to do is get yourself a little sandwich bag, and we want to take strawberries. If you have one really big strawberry, or I'm using 3 small ones, and we want to cut the tops off of our strawberries. So once you have your tops, they'll look just like that, have them cut off. We're going to stick them in the bag, just like this. And the first thing that we want to do is going to be the most fun part of this, is we get to squish these strawberries up. So Taylor, go ahead and squish our strawberries up. So we're going to squish those till there's no chunks left. And this is going to be called lysing the cell. So by squishing that, what we are doing is we are releasing particles of that and strands of DNA. So our DNA is what makes us who we are. And we actually share some really cool traits with strawberries and bananas. And we have some very similar DNA to them. And so the reason we're doing this is because a part of grossology a lot of people think about, we talk about, is microbiology. And so microbiology is the study of cells, and cells have everything to do with living organisms. They all live inside of us. So once we've got that all straightened up, we're going to get some of our next items ready to go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some hot water going. So we want to get it not super hot, but hot enough that it's going to help melt our salt. And then we're going to take some of our measuring cups here and drop some stuff. Alright, so what we want to do is in one of our little cups that we have, we want to take a teaspoon of our salt. So take a teaspoon of our salt and we want to pour in our cup. And then once we've got our hot water, we want to dump half a cup of our warm or hot water in here. Our strawberries all squished. Yep, so once they're all squished, you want to squish for about 2 minutes or so. As you can see, everything is nice and smooth, no chunks in there, anything like that. Our water's almost warm. Probably got that in. Yep. Alright, so now we're going to take a half a cup of our warm water, and we're going to pour into the salt. And we're going to use one of our stirrers to stir it until all of our salt is dissolved. Once our salt is dissolved, then we're going to open our bag, and we're going to pour our warm salt mixture in here. And this salt's going to help to pull out that DNA even more. And then Taylor's going to take and squish that around and mix it around just a little bit more, try to break up any more of those chunks. Once she's mixed that for about another 30 seconds or so, then we're going to get our dish soap, and we are going to add 2 teaspoons of dish soap. Alright, so we got that. Then we're going to open our bag again, and like I said, we're going to do 2 teaspoons of dish soap. Try to get all that soap in there, and then she's going to mix it around again. We don't want to get bubbles, so you want to mix very gently, because we don't want to have any bubbles in there. So make sure it's nice and mixed, but no bubbles. Alright, and then once that's mixed for about another 30 seconds or so, we're going to take our jar with our lid on it, make sure that our rubber band is still very secure. Alright, now that we got our cup, we're going to gently pour our mixture into our cup, and then it's going to have to sit for a few minutes till it's all drained through. So gently pour. And you'll see some stuff starting to happen down here. Try to get all that mixture in there. There we go. Alright, so we're going to let that sit to the side for a minute and watch it do its thing. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take another jar, and we're going to do our banana one. So if you just have a banana at the house, then we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to take our coffee filter. And we're going to stick it in there the best we can and put our rubber band on. Alright, so we have our banana jar ready to go. It's all sealed all the way around. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to take our banana. We're going to stick a whole banana in here. Seal it up, and we're going to do the same thing. So for about 2 minutes, we're going to mush up that banana as much as we can. Make sure to get out any chunks or anything like that. So smush it around till you get nothing in there, and you'll see it kind of turns almost to a liquid at one point. So don't be afraid to get in there and make it all squishy. Everybody see how that's starting to look? And squish it down some more here. If you have a banana that's a little greener, it may take a little bit longer. If you have a really, really ripe banana, it won't take as long because they're already really soft. So once you've got all that done, then we're going to go back again and we're going to do our salt water and our detergent. Alright, so the first thing is we are going to take a half a cup of our warm water. So a half a cup of warm water. We're going to take a teaspoon of our salt. We're going to give that a good mix, get that all dissolved up. Alright, open our bag. We'll pour our salt water mixture in there again. Alright, and then while Taylor's doing that, we'll get our soap ready. So she's going to mix that water in for about 30 seconds or so. Alright, once we got that mixed, then we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of our dish detergent again. 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of dish detergent. Alright, once we got that in there, make sure your bag's sealed. And remember that we don't want to get soap bubbles, so mix very, very gently. It'll kind of turn a different color, but we want to mix just so. So you can even lay it out, if it's sealed really well, go ahead and lay it out on the table and kind of mush it around. Strawberry one is almost done, so what we need to do now is we need to take this thing off. So this is where it could get messy. We want to make sure that we are very careful in peeling this off because we don't want any of our pulp to make it into our thing. So what you see is we got this little ball here. You want to gently squeeze this to get out any of that extra juice in there. Okay, and then we'll set our extra to the side here. And then what we're going to do is we will measure out a half a cup of our 91% or higher alcohol. And this is going to help us to separate that DNA. But why did we use salt and soap in here? So to help us lyse our cells, we had to break all of that up. So that salt and soap helps to break all those particles up and then grab the specific DNA particles. So then we're going to take this, along with, we're going to use our longer stir stick this time, and we're going to slowly mix this in. Try not to splash it a whole lot, so try to run it down the side or the stick. And then, once it's in there, if we look really carefully, can we see how there's 2 different layers here? So if you get those layers, you'll be able to pull them up. And that is the DNA of a strawberry. So we broke all that strawberry down. You can see how it's not even the color of strawberries. And that's because that DNA is all broken down now into different particles. So we can look, there's a little more in there too, but you can see it's kind of slimy in there. Get a closer view here. So there is another big wad of our strawberry DNA. If you have something at home, you can even put it in there and you can show your friends and your family. It won't last for very, very long because it's a food particle anyway, so we don't want to keep it in there too long. But you can keep it, and then you can show everybody that you made DNA with a strawberry. Alright guys, so our banana one is just about ready. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the strawberry. We want to very carefully take off our filter. Try not to get any banana particles in there. And then gently squeeze the rest of that material out. Alright, once you got most of that liquid out, we're going to rinse our hands off. Alright, and for this one, you want to use a little more than a half a cup. So we used 150 milliliters. But you can use a little over half a cup. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take our bigger stick here, and we're going to gently pour the alcohol down that stick because we don't want it to mix super fast. So you can probably see it running down the side of the jar. Alright, and so then, if we look real close, we should be able to see that there's a darker kind of cream colored white layer there. And then you'll be able to see the stuff floating, and then you'll be able to see the alcohol. So we can see kind of 3 different layers there. So we're going to take our stick, and we're going to gently try to get some of our material here. So you might stir it just a little bit. And the banana one doesn't produce as much, so it can be a little harder to fish out. But we got a little bit there. A little bit. The reason this one is even harder, it does produce the same chromosomes, except it's a triploid, and tri means 3, so it only has 3. What happened when we were doing that? So first thing, when we added the salt and the detergent mixture to our squished up product, that helps it to lyse or pop open those cells. So in order to create that solution that we needed, we added our salt and our hot water and our alcohol, which should really be cold, but room temperature works okay as well. And we also added some dish soap. So that helps to gather up all those clumps of DNA, and it actually then helps us to be able to separate those. When we add that alcohol, you've seen those different layers in our form, and it helped us to separate those so that then we could stir it around and pull out that DNA. Alright guys, so we hope you had a really good time doing our DNA extraction, but let's give you a little bit of background information about why that works and kind of why we study DNA and things like that. So DNA actually stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And what does that mean? Well, basically, it's just the blueprint of what makes us who we are and what we look like and how. So DNA is really good for helping us determine a lot about ourselves. It can help us determine our eye color, our hair color. It can determine how tall we're going to be. Do we have certain allergies? It could also determine things like what our body is going to look like. So do we have a round face? Do we have more of a kind of egg-shaped face? So DNA can tell us a lot about ourselves and how we're going to be as we continue to grow. So it's a really important tool that scientists use to help study. So DNA is found in everything that is living. So that could even be our strawberries and our bananas because they grow, right? So they start from plants and they grow their way up into the fruits that we all enjoy. So same thing with us. So we started as babies and we continue to grow, so it makes us a living thing as well. So some really fun facts. So we do share DNA with a lot of variety of things. Whether we look the same or think the same as other things, we do share DNA. So one that people think of often is apes. So we actually share about 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees. That's pretty cool. But have you ever thought about a fruit fly maybe? So fruit flies, we actually share 36% of our DNA with them, so it's very similar. And one even more is, have you ever thought, if you look in the ocean, you ever heard of a zebrafish? Zebrafish actually share 85% of our DNA. So if you look all around us, you may not realize it, but we do share DNA with a lot of things. So it's really cool to think about, and sometimes a little gross, right? Alright guys, so we really hope that you have enjoyed extracting DNA with us. Please let us know if you have any questions. Send us some pictures of your DNA, or give us a little shout out, a video, something to let us know that you're enjoying it, and maybe show us what you accomplished. We hope that you continue to join us for our other videos. We hope you have a lot of fun, and we've had a great time. We'll see you tomorrow.